Welcome to my channel where we take a look at math problems that students often have issues with. Together, we will find that math can be easy. Today, let's take a closer look at what is a root. A root is just the solution to an equation set equal to 0. So if I have some polynomial and set it equal to 0, the solutions to that is a root. This graph looks something like this. I'm being very not exact here, but it crosses the axis 3 times, and those are the solutions to the equation. Now, there are different types of roots, and that's something I think a lot of people haven't learned. But we could discuss how many solutions are there to a cubic. And the answer to that is 3, because it's a cubic. If it's a 5th power polynomial, there will be 5 solutions. So you might look at me and say, well, wait a second. What about y equals x squared? We know that looks just like a nice little u. Comes down here, touches the graph, and comes back up. That only has one solution. And you're right. There's only one solution. However, it's a double root. So this actually has 2 solutions, but they're both the same. So the solution is x equals 0 and x equals 0. And that's how we can say that every cubic has 3 solutions. I didn't say they're unique. There might be 2 that are the same. So how can you tell if you have a double root or a triple root? Well, it can be very difficult to look at a graph and know. But if you look at the graph, you can get some ideas. Looking at this graph, I know that it is not a single root because any odd root will cross the axis. So if it's a single root, like a normal root you're looking at, one that you're probably thinking of, it crosses the axis. That will be true for a cubed root, or a 3rd power root as well. So if I were to draw this graph, I can look at that and know this looks like a 3rd power cubic of some sort. However, is it an x to the 5th power graph? Is it a 7th order polynomial? I honestly don't know. It really depends. If I look at this, is that a single root? I don't know. It could be a triple root, 5 roots, 7, any odd number of times it could be crossing. But I do know it's not an even root, because even roots come down and touch and come back. So odd roots, they don't really hurt anything as far as how you would solve a problem. If you watched my previous video where I taught you how to factor using a calculator, there's an issue with that in even roots. Because if you have an even root, you actually can't calculate that. You have to do something else because it doesn't intersect that line. You could say find a minimum point, or you could just look at it and say, you know what, I know what it is. Most problems that I've dealt with, you can just look at it and say, well, that's obviously 0. So those are the different types of roots. And so now we know how to classify the number of roots. Knowing the number of roots can really help you understand what a polynomial is doing and, in fact, how to solve it. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. If there's a problem you're struggling with, leave it in the comments. Maybe that will be my next video. If you're looking for a private math tutor, my email's in the description. Remember, math can be easy.